theory of sacroegoism and the other sacrostates, mostly at seminary, because I was taking a class on American church history, and we're talking about growth and decline of religiosity in America. And they said where religious markets were open and free, religion flourished. But I noticed that in Oregon, the state I was at the time, it had like the lowest church membership anywhere. So I thought there's something a little bit wrong with that theory, that religious markets lead to, religious fervor. So I did a study. I went to England, worked on my PhD, and I thought I should investigate a town. So I picked a town called McMinnville, Oregon, about 30,000 people, and I did both longitudinal and latitudinal studies, so a broad investigation and a deep investigation of them. And then I plugged all the data that I gathered into a program called the Statistical Package for Social Scientists. And when I charted it out, I saw these groupings. And basically, people group it into 4 different categories. There's the sacroegoists, which is like probably the biggest group of people in America right now in Western society, radical individualists who think that they are the ultimate supreme authority in religious matters. Versus, on the other side, the next biggest one is the sacroclericalists, and that's church institutions, that they're okay with that, they like it. Catholic Church, Mormon Church, maybe Southern Baptist Church, depends on that. Another group were the sacrocommunalists, and this is also a big group in America right now. These are the people who do church at a bar, or they go out and as a group they go on hiking excursions with each other, and they just talk theology kind of loose and light, so it's not strong doctrine. And then the 4th group, which is very few of them, but they are the sacrotheists, and these are some of the mystics who have a very heightened sense of spirituality where God is talking to them personally, very personally. That's mysticism. It's a very important question. It's one that's being studied all across America and in Europe and in Asia, why people are actually religious or not, basically. Again, there's personal agency. Agency is the ability to make choices, so people are choosing or not choosing to go. So that's the number one thing. Number 2 is a sense of radical individualism that I spoke of before. America's always been very individualistic. I don't think we've ever had this much freedom and autonomy on a personal level to make choices than we've had before without stigma. And I think that's a huge reason why I'm sure people who don't go to church, you don't think, well, I bet that person's a bad Christian. You don't think that anymore. But like 50 years ago, they would. Because there's so many technological advances that allow us to live autonomously, so we don't feel the obligation to go to church as much. Although psychological studies have shown that we need to live in community. We need to make the connections, and that's why we should go. That's actually why I and my family go to church. And also, I don't know everything. I need people to teach me. I have a really good pastor I go to right now, and it's not just about the smells and the bells. It's the stuff that he says. It touches me, and it inspires me to make changes in my life. And I think that's one reason why I go to church, and why a lot of people go to church, because they feel a connection both with God and the community. Now, the people who do not go to church, oftentimes they're repulsed by things they hear from the pulpit. And mostly it's about restricting their personal choices and avenues of entertainment or, sexuality, etc. So they hear, well, I don't like that pastor. He said I can't do blah, blah, blah. And I think a big factor, too, is a trust factor. I trust in God.